The Islamic banking that Ghana and the Bank of Ghana are introducing into the financial system model is not getting the right attention.
Non-interest banking is just another model of commercial banking.
There are a lot of confusions between Muslims and non-Muslims about this new system that Ghana is introducing. And of course, there is a conversation happening in Ghana right now that I think deserves more than a Facebook post. Now, I've seen a lot of comments and editorials from people saying that Ghana is actually introducing Islamic banking, which is based on Sharia, technically meaning that Muslims in Ghana want to take over the country. This is what people are saying. Now, before we go any further, let me just make my positions clear. I'm a Muslim and I'm a Ghanaian. So if Islamic banking is based on Islamic principles, I'm not going to pretend that it is not. But at the same time, I'm not going to tell you that Ghana is becoming an Islamic state simply because Islamic finance is being introduced as an alternative to the conventional banking system that we already have in this country. So rather than arguing about this news with people on the timeline, I of course decided to investigate for myself, because research is part of the job that I've actually given to myself. And in this video, you and me will together answer this particular questions. So if you're actually watching this video, then I guess you are ready for this particular deep dive into this issue. So without wasting so much time, let's begin today's video. Now, the first thing that we need to establish is that the Bank of Ghana has introduced a regulatory framework for something officially called as non-interest banking. And on August 16, 2026, the Bank of Ghana published its guidelines for the regulation and supervision of non-interest banking in Ghana. And so we are not talking about a random proposal that somebody actually posted online. This is an official regulatory framework for the non-interest banking in this country. But the name is quite interesting to me, because the Bank of Ghana isn't calling it Islamic banking, it is actually calling it non-interest banking. To be able to actually understand what exactly is non-interest banking, we first need to understand or know what the conventional banking actually does. Because in a conventional bank, a bank can actually lend you money and then charge you an interest for the money that you came for. But Islamic finance takes actually a different approach, because the basic idea is that certain financial practices are not permissible under the Islamic principles. And one of the most important practice is of course riba, which is commonly known as interest. And so instead of a bank giving you money and requesting that you pay with add-ons or even interest, the bank could actually purchase an asset that you need and then sell it to you at an agreed profit, rather than simply lending you the money to buy that asset that you need and then charge you interest on the loan that you took from them. So you see, this is one of the structures in Islamic banking, because there are a lot of different structures if this is going to happen. But the important thing is this: Islamic finance is a finance system which is designed around the Islamic principles.
Non-interest banking is just another model of commercial banking,
which technically means that yes, it is Islamic, because I've seen people discussing this issue and sometimes trying to separate non-interest banking completely from Islam, and I don't think that is actually helpful, because there is a connection, and that connection is quite real. The Bank of Ghana's framework recognizes financial principles and structures that is actually associated with Islamic finance. So if someone says Ghana's non-interest banking framework has some Islamic roots, that is true, because it does have some Islamic roots. And if the person says that Sharia principles are involved in the banking system, that is also true. And I don't see any reason for Muslims to be embarrassed about saying all these things. But yeah, we need to make an important distinction, because saying that a financial product is based on Islamic principle is not the same as saying that the entire country has adopted Islamic law, or is about adopting Islamic law, which is the narrative that is actually being pushed on the timeline. And for us to actually understand this distinction, we need to understand what people mean when they say Sharia. Because when some people hear the word Sharia, they immediately think about criminal punishment, but that is not the entirety of what Muslims mean by the word Sharia. Because in a broad understanding, Sharia refers to divine guidance which covers different forms of human life. And this could include morality, it could include family matters, we have business there, we have finances, and then we have other forms of the personal life. And Islamic finance is actually considered with one of the particular broader area in that divine guidance, which is financial transaction. And so when an Islamic bank says that this product is Sharia compliant, what it means is that that particular financial product has been structured according to Islamic financial principles. And it does not automatically mean that the constitution of Ghana has been replaced with the Sharia law. And of course, does not automatically mean that Ghana's criminal law has been replaced either, because these are complete two different claims. But the bigger question is this: why is Ghana actually doing all this? And this is where we need to hear the government's explanation.
Non-interest banking is just another model of commercial banking. We started the process in March 2025, and we developed a guideline to guide, regulate, and supervise this new industry in January 2026.
The idea is to bring inclusion, people who by virtue of their faith, their beliefs, cannot adopt conventional banking, will now have an opportunity of accessing financial services.
You see, the Bank of Ghana presents non-interest banking as an alternative financing model in our system. The idea is to just give people and businesses another way of accessing financial services. And the government and also the Bank of Ghana have also presented the framework as something that can operate alongside conventional banking system in this country. In other words, Ghana isn't saying that we are shutting down conventional banks. That is not what is happening in the country. And the idea is that there is another financial model that can actually operate within Ghana's banking system, because if a bank offers an Islamic banking window, that doesn't mean that every customer in Ghana is suddenly being forced to use Islamic banking, because Islamic finance is not necessarily restricted to only Muslims. A Christian can actually use an Islamic financial product, same as someone who isn't religious. They can also use the same product. And so in this system, a business doesn't have to become Muslim because it obtains financing according to Islamic financial principles. That is not what is happening. And this, of course, isn't unique to Ghana either, because Islamic financial services already exist in other countries when Muslims are not even the majority. And so the existence of Islamic banking and the existence of Islamic State are not the exact same thing. That distinction is critical for me because of the narrative that people are pushing on the timeline. But then again, why are people actually worried, especially non-Muslims? And here I want to be fair, because if somebody is concerned about this particular introduction, we shouldn't automatically call them ignorant or Islamophobic. You see, some people have raised serious issues and questions about the framework way back in 2025. But aside these questions, there are also claims that Muslims are gradually planning a takeover in order to make Ghana an Islamic state, just because of the introduction of this Islamic banking system. Now, you see, those who don't understand the concept of Islamic banking system will think that Muslims are the only people to enjoy these particular services, which in fact is not true. Islamic banking system is being introduced in the country's banking sector, and this does not mean that Islam is planning to take over the country, although this is the agenda that a lot of people are pushing on the timeline. And this is where we have to stop speculating and look at the actual legal framework by the government. The Bank of Ghana's non-interest banking guideline operate under Ghana's existing legal and regulatory system. So you see, it does not in any way announce that Ghana's constitution is being replaced with this. Neither it does not declare that Sharia is going to be the new system that Ghana is going to use. It of course does not abolish conventional banking. It does not establish an Islamic state. So based on the document that we have, we can all attest to the fact that Ghana is of course not replacing its national legality with the Sharia law. It is just a matter of financing. Now, someone might say, if there are Sharia advisors or Sharia supervisory structures involved, isn't that basically a religious authority operating inside the country? Well, you see, this is a very fair question, but we need to understand what that Sharia supervisory actually does. Because this is a body concerned with whether a particular financial institution or product complies with the Islamic principles that the institution has chosen to follow. Just think about it this way, yeah. If a company decides to offer halal foods, it may have people who determine whether or not the food meets the halal requirement. That doesn't mean that those people have become the government or the governing body of Ghana. They are just determining whether a particular product or service meets a particular standard before it can actually be released into the public for consumption. And Islamic banking system works within the same similar concept. The bank can of course have Sharia oversight concerning its Islamic financial product, but the bank in itself still operates under the Ghanaian law. This is important because I want you to understand this part. Now, of course, let us talk about the concerns of our Christian brothers and sisters. Because if Christians have concerns about the constitutionality and also the regulatory structure of the Islamic banking system, then they are not wrong to actually have concerns about something that they don't understand. It is upon you and me, the Muslims, to actually explain to them exactly what is happening and why it is good for everybody. But the same principles applies in the opposite direction also. Like if someone makes the claim that Muslims want to take over the country with Sharia law, we can actually disagree with them for saying this particular statement, but we should not engage in insult with them, even if they initiate the particular insult. And this is where I want to speak to both Muslims and non-Muslims. If you are a Christian and you came into this particular video thinking that Islamic banking means Ghana is about to become an Islamic state, well, I hope you've now seen why these are two different things. And if you are a Muslim, I hope you've also seen something else as well. Because regardless of our religious affiliations, Ghana is for all of us and we need to keep it as such. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.